Good morning from my green pets. I'm William Green. This is the scene this morning in Colorado. Kind of funny, the pool out there in my apartment complex and snow falling, of course. It can snow up until June here in Colorado, but the great thing is that even after it, we might have a really cold day. Um, it warms back up, sun comes out, and it's like it never happened. So it's cool, but that's beside the point. Let's go check out the orchids. Got some cool things to show you with the Cattleyas. Check it out. Cattleya rex. This guy's sheath is the buds have pushed out. And look at that. There are 4 of them. I'm actually kind of hoping there's going to be even more in there. But right now, definitely 4. That's super exciting. Most I've ever had on any Cattleya rex. And this plant has another sheath back here developing, and then another one in here as well. Oops, in here. So that's super exciting. And I found, last week I was telling you I had 6 total. Well, that total is up. This leaf popped open and it's got a little sheath inside of it too. Now I don't know if this one will actually bloom because it is a smaller plant, but still 7 sheaths is pretty exciting. So it's kind of a cool opportunity to show you basically, the whole growth cycle, because I have plants in every stage at this point. So let's start out with this little guy. You can see the new growth just starting out on this guy, just a little bump, right? And then as that matures, you get something like this, kind of pushing up this little guy here. And then it begins to extend out like this one. Just all of these different sections kind of telescope out, and you get this nice big growth coming up. And then when it gets to a certain point, that new growth will pop open like this, and that's when you can kind of look in and see if there's anything exciting in there. And then as it develops, the sheath becomes more apparent. And not long after the sheath pushes out, you can start to see buds push in the bottom of the sheath. And then once that happens, it's not long, only a couple weeks before the buds push out. And I would say that this plant right now is probably about 10 to 12 days from blooming, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 14, but I don't know, it may not even be that long. What's cool, that's one reason I really like Cattleya rex, is because, and this is not the only Cattleya that does this, but it is a plant that blooms as soon as the growth is complete, it's in bloom, And some Cattleyas, for example, this Maxima, these sheaths have been on there since December, and this plant won't bloom maybe for a couple more months. So several Cattleyas out there, they form their sheaths and then they kind of rest for a while before they bloom, but not Rex. Rex does it all in one go. As soon as he starts growing, you can start counting, looking on the calendar and kind of figure out when your blooms are going to come, because it doesn't wait, it shoots them right out. The big question is going to be, is this plant going to rest immediately after blooming, or is it going to start growing again, since we're still not even halfway through the growing season? I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if I got a whole other set of growths and blooms on the same plants before the winter rest sets in November? Who knows? That would be amazing. I'm going to take a look at the Cattleya seedlings here. I've got 3 different types of seedlings. These are Rex seedlings, these little guys. You can tell their leaves are thicker and rounder. This is a Rex. This is a little Rex seedling as well. And so is this little guy in here. I've also got some Dowiana aurea, the yellow Dowiana from Colombia. Actually, I think this is a Costa Rican plant, but this is Dowiana. You can see that this seedling leaves are they're a little bit slimmer. The plants are a little leggier. They got roots coming out of, up the top and down bottom, everything else. So there's a couple bunches of Dowiana seedlings, and they seem to be doing okay. The weaker ones do seem to be losing traction and kind of maybe dying off, but there's definitely some that seem to be growing well, and hopefully they're going to keep doing that. And then the last group of seedlings I have is a hybrid. This is a naturally occurring hybrid, but this one's a man-made one. This is Cattleya blossfeldiana, and it's a cross between Rex and luteola. They both occur on the in the eastern Andes Mountains in Peru, and their range overlaps, so that sometimes you might have a little bee that pollinates one plant, or takes the pollen from a Rex and transfers it to a luteola, and it actually makes a natural hybrid. So these are, I think they're exceptionally rare. I've never seen one for sale. I just chanced upon some seedlings, so I'm really excited. I hope that these guys continue to grow. It looks like there are some new leaves coming out. This little compote might be up for a repot soon. There's another little blossfeldiana. The white powdery stuff is thiamyl. I applied thiamyl to the entire collection last weekend and the weekend before. I'm going to wait one more week before applying it a third time, just as a hopefully preventative fungicide treatment. I've been having issues with fungus here in the tent. Understandable, it's a pretty closed environment, but hopefully we're going to get things under control. And one of the other things that I want to do to try to kind of open up some space in here, as you guys know, is I'd like to have an auction, and I've been working on the auction page for the past week or so, and it's about ready to go. So I'm just going to give you guys fair warning that probably within the next 2 weeks you will see all of these catasetums listed. There's 3 different ones. There is Signotes Wine Delight. This very plant will be up for auction. So will this division. This one's a little bit further, not as far along, but they've all got great roots. They all got great growth, and they've been completely dry since December. This one I have started to spray a little bit with water, but just kind of light spray. But it's about ready to be watered full blast. I also have Fred Clarkara Desert Davison. This is last year's bulb that bloomed. It's got a nice new growth on it. It's also rooting. You can see the roots in the medium there. And then there's a smaller division. It's smaller. I mean, it's still pretty huge division of Desert Davison as well. Also making some nice roots there. Nice strong growth. And then there is one division as well of Mormodia Jumbo World, this little 2-bulb division. It does not have any new growth on it, but I feel confident that it certainly will. Just needs to recalibrate after being divided. And all of these plants are awarded. This is the Wine Delight has an FCC from the 1980s. It's an old hybrid. This Desert Davison was just awarded in January of this year with an award of merit. And then the Jumbo World was awarded at the same time in January of this year with a highly commended certificate. So all of them awarded, and they just are looking for a home. So a couple weeks from now, I'm going to be posting those on an online, my online version of an auction site. So excited about that. Let's see, other plants that I'm going to put up for auction are these Vanda falcata divisions. There's 6 of them. They're numbered 1 through 6. 1 is the largest and 6 is the smallest. They're all healthy, they're all rooting, and the larger ones should bloom this year in the summertime. This plant will also be up for auction. This is RLC Jessie Lee. The beautiful peach to orange flowers. They have new growths and roots going crazy on them. And it's also a healthy, very healthy division, and those will be up for auction as well. This is the back bulbs. These are the back bulbs of Jessie Lee that I'm going to keep. And I'm happy that there is a new growth down there. You can barely see it. Yeah, there it is. The older bulbs are kind of turning yellow, but that's okay. I think it's going to have enough juice in it to get that new growth out. It probably won't be a full-sized bulb, but it'll be big enough for the plant to get going again. And also I have some bulbophyllum divisions. Down here I have bulbophyllum medusae. Oh, that's annoying. I have bulbophyllum medusae divisions. Here's a really huge, nice one. And then behind it, here's another one as well. These are healthy. These are growing. They've got new growths on them. I'm going to keep just the back bulbs back here of Medusa. And then these two will be auctioned off. Just really nice big divisions that should definitely bloom for you this fall and give you a pretty nice show. And then a couple more plants that are going to be up are these. These are Diania ophrydis. These are the cattail orchid. You can see all of them are showing new growth there. They really need to be rehomed soon before they get too big. This is what they look like when they start growing up, and you can see the bloom spike already out on this guy. The flowers are just starting to open. They're kind of a light purple color, but then the color deepens to a darker purple. And these are just really cool. This one's actually, I think it's too big for me to put on the auction. I think it's quite fragile, and I think if I tried to box this up and mail it, it would get trashed. So I might try to sell this to someone locally who would be able to just come pick it up, because I don't think it's going to travel very well. The mother plant that I got all those from is back here, and it is just really nice. I just think it's a beautiful plant. And the flower spike lasts all summer long. It'll continue to, you can see all the little flower buds all along that spike. It'll continue to just elongate and bloom for the next 4 months or so. And if it gets too long, at some point you can just kind of cut it off, but it is really nice when especially in its early stages like this. It's just a really nice little plant, and it's unusual. It's kind of something that not everybody has. Now I gotta tell you, I'm a little torn about this plant. I was originally thinking I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. I really don't have the conditions for Cattleya walkeriana to bloom successfully. But darn it, it's got a new growth coming on it. I don't know if you can see down there. And I know it's way too late for this plant to be blooming, but I would just kick myself if I sold this thing and then that new growth turned out to be a bloom. So I'm gonna hope against hope that this plant is actually gonna try to bloom for me, and if not, no problem, we'll put him up for auction. Walkeriana, it seems to have done well for me. It just, the exact conditions that it needs, I don't know that I can really provide in this tent, because this tent is really geared towards making the Cattleya rexes happy. And they do have a little bit different requirements in terms of day length and light. Walkeriana likes shorter days in the fall and winter in order to kind of urge it to bloom. And Rex likes the same length of day all year round. So I'm going to side with my Rexes on this guy, but I am going to wait just a little while to see if that little thing actually is something that wants to bloom, or it's just another growth coming out. Now, one more plant that bloomed beautifully for me in the fall was Bulbophyllum Lovely Elizabeth, and all of these are divisions. I took the plant and I split it up into like 8 different divisions. But as I was cutting the divisions, I noticed that there was a faint red ring around the rhizome where I cut, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I've got all these divisions. They grow like weeds. The plant seems very healthy. It bloomed beautifully in the fall. So I don't know, I can't in good conscience put something on auction that I know has some kind of an issue. That red ring is notorious, right? So What I'm gonna do is I actually contacted my local extension office at the University of Colorado that's near where I live, and I sent them a picture. Last week I had sent you I had showed you that one of the leaves off of my Cattleya Rex. Actually, hang on, let's go look at it. It was this leaf that came off my Cattleya Rex last week, and I actually sent some pictures to that extension office, and they said it looked like anthracnose, which is a type of fungus. And luckily, the thiamine treatments that I've been giving everything will work on anthracnose as well. So what I found is that extension office will actually, you can send them samples of plants, and they will put a scientist on it, and they will tell you exactly what it is. And then they will also offer treatment options. And it's not free, it's $30 per plant, or per sample. But to me, it's worth it to know exactly what's going on in my collection and how to deal with it. So the plan is any plants that I think have some kind of an issue, I'm going to send a sample to that lab and see if they can give me some answers. You know, it's really nice to be able to contact a professional plant pathologist, have them look at your plant and be able to tell you, yes, your plant has some kind of a infection. No, yeah, you know, here's how to treat it, here's what to do. Instead of just saying, well, they got some weird coloration here, I'm not sure what that is. So that's actually going to bring me quite a bit of relief just to know that option is there. And that way, if I, am putting things up for auction or selling plants, I can be more confident, and people who want to buy the plants can be more confident too that, they are not pathogenic. They're not, going to carry something to their collection. So that's it. I appreciate you guys tuning into My Green Pets, and looking forward to sharing this guy with you next weekend. That is going to be so awesome. Hopefully nothing will get messed up this week. I'm going to try to keep it in pristine shape, and I would love it if the flowers would actually kind of come out and just kind of fill in all this space here. That would just be really nice. So fingers crossed that happens. All right, guys, have yourselves a good week, and we'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. See ya.